To George Lauder Sr. My dear uncle, the above picture is a correct view of our American home, but it is taken from a point that does not show the city to advantage, the greater part of which lays back of the cathedral, that building with the high steeple. The building opposite is the courthouse. It is a splendid building of freestone. The river to the right is the Monongahela. The wire bridge across it leads to Birmingham and Sligo, where the coal hills are. You will observe a flat boat coming down. It is loaded with coal for points below. Pittsburgh supplies all places below with coal. Its coal trade amounts to many millions of dollars yearly. The steamboats are very well done. They will no doubt appear funny to you. They are very different from yours. They are light, and some of them go at the rate of 20 miles downstream. The largest of them draw only 4 feet, and in the summer months, the river gets so low that they cannot run, and little boats drawing only 18 inches take their places. The river on the left is the Allegheny, called that by the Indians, meaning clear water. Up the Allegheny, there are great forests, and hundreds of rafts of lumber come down every season. There is one in the picture coming down just at the lower bridge. The bridges lead over to Allegheny City. They are very like the originals. Allegheny contains 22,000 inhabitants. There's not much business done in Allegheny. The greater part of the people there are engaged in some business in Pittsburgh. You will see little ferry boats on the river. Some of them run to Manchester, 2 miles below, where there are public gardens. In the summer, they are much visited. Because it is so warm, we are glad to go and get under the shade of a fine tree. We've had a flood this year. Every season when the snow melts on the mountains, the rivers rise very high. But they have not been so high for 20 years before. It rained for 3 weeks, almost constantly, and both rivers rose at once. It was up to the ceiling in our house, and for 2 days we had to live upstairs and sail about in rafts and skiffs. It was a great time. The lower part of Allegheny was all flooded. It caused great destruction of property. Our telegraph was swept away in some places, and I had to go down the river 70 miles to take all the eastern business from Pittsburgh and send to a station below from where the line was all right. I was away more than a week and enjoyed myself first rate. James Sloan arrived here 2 weeks ago. He has had a hard voyage, but he's in good health. He'll get along first rate here. He thinks he will go to making shuttles, a great number of them being required for the steam cotton works. We were all overjoyed to see him. We've not got all the news from him yet. Every day something comes to light that surprises us. He likes his country very well, but as he's going to write, he will gie his ain crack. He says that he knows very little difference in father and mother, and I was glad to hear him say that Dodd and I looked very much alike, far more so than when I was in Scotland. We're also about the same height. He was laughing at me a few days ago because I could not say so cray as broad as he says it. I tried it over and over, but could not do it. But although I cannot say so cray just as broad as I once could, I can read about Wallace, Bruce and Burns with as much enthusiasm as ever, and feel proud of being a son of old Caledonia. And I like to tell people when they ask, "Are you a native born?" No, sir, I am a Scotchman, and I feel as proud, I am sure, as every Roman did when it was their boast to say, "I am a Roman citizen." We got the Fife Herald with an account of Smith's meeting. It was a rich treat to us all. Father says he would vote for Smith now, and we all laughed to see how Erskine got his deservings. We were sorry to see afterward that Mr. Smith is not going to be a candidate again. He was a faithful servant. The politicians here are all in great excitement about the presidency. Every candidate, and there are about 20, is trying everything he can think of to gain popularity. They write letters to different associations flattering them, make speeches on popular questions, taking every occasion to flatter the enlightened citizens of the great republic. You would laugh to see how low they have to bow to their sovereigns. The people. The two most prominent candidates, I am sorry to say, are warriors. One General Scott, Commander-in-Chief, USA, he's a Whig. The Whigs here go for protection against foreign labour and are in favour of a national bank and are Conservative. The Democrats to go for free trade and no chartered bank. I take great interest in politics here and think when I am a man, I would like to dabble a little in them. I would be a Democrat, or rather a free soil Democrat. Free soilers get their name from their hatred of slavery and slave labour. Slavery, I hope, will soon be abolished in this country. Father said this morning to be sure and tell you that the greatest reform of the age has just taken place here. It is a law recently passed the House of Representatives, granting 160 acres of unoccupied land to every man that will cultivate it. And when he dies, his children get the land. No man can get it if he owns any other land. The law has not yet come into operation, but will come soon. Send out your poor tax-ridden honest men, and they will soon get a home here. There's much excitement upon the subject of temperance. The state of Maine passed a law prohibiting the manufacture or sale, except for medical purposes, of all intoxicating liquors. Several states have passed similar laws, and of course the rum sellers are trying all they can to protect their right to sell what they please. Kossuth is now in the state of New York. The majority of the people, I believe, would favour America protesting against Russian interference. He has raised a great deal of money here and intends leaving for England next month. But I must not fill up my letter with politics altogether, so I will try to think of some personal matters. Mother is in good health and sends you and Aunt her very kindest regards. Father has been away selling his clothes lately. He's in fine spirits. He does not take very much interest in politics here, but that land reform has really excited him. He's in great glee about it. Aunt Aiken has commenced keeping the store in Allegheny in partnership with Mrs. Scott, a Scotch woman. They are getting along very well. Anne sends her best respects to you and Aunt and all friends. Our meeting house is the story above our office. I have just come down into the office from Sunday school. We have a nice school. I take great interest in it, and I'm a young Swedenborgian. Do you still read the works? I still continue to like my business and intend to continue at it. I have very easy times, and I may say I have no master, for the operators in the office are very nice men and never say a cross word, at least very seldom. Although I sometimes think I would like to be back in Dunfermline, I'm sure it is far better for me that I came here. If I'd been in Dunfermline working at the loom, it is very likely I would have been a poor weaver all my days. But here I can surely do something better than that. If I don't, it will be my own fault, for anyone can get along in this country. I intend going to night school this fall to learn something more, and after that, I will try and teach myself some other branches. My paper is nearly done. Please give my kind remembrances to Mr. and Mrs. Martin, and John Grant. Tell him we were happy to hear that he and the family were getting along. Now, my dear uncle, please write me soon. I would be so glad to get a letter from you. I will write you regularly. I forgot to ask when you intended coming out. I remain your much indebted nephew, Andrew Carnegie. My dear aunt, as I have a little spare room, I take the chance of writing you a few lines. Tommy is getting along very well. He is getting very stout and tall. He goes regularly to school and is now learning to write. We have had very cold weather for this season of the year, but now the warm weather is beginning to come on. In the warm weather, most folks here get a sort of disease called the spring fever. It does not do them any harm. It only makes them lazy, so they don't like to do anything but lay about. We're going to have very warm weather this summer. It is fought on account of the extreme coldness of the winter. The winter has been the coldest one for many years. It was 15 degrees below zero some mornings. Rather too cold. Remember me to Maggie and Eliza. Tell them I am coming to see them again soon, and I hope they will be good girls. My paper is nearly full, so I must bid you goodbye. Please write when Uncle does. Would like to hear from you. Tell us all about Maggie, Eliza and Anne, not forgetting yourself. Goodbye. Yours affectionately, Neg.